Hello and welcome to another week of RCTV News. There's RC in the background. As promised, we're in the shopping centre in Milton Keynes in the UK. John Lewis is there. Over your shoulder, we've got Greg's and Costa.
Yes. Oh, speaking of which, I'm a bit hungry.
Later.
This episode is brought to you by our partners.
Tonisport,
Invisible Speed,
Maugrafix,
Orlowski Racing Line, EuroRC, rsrc,
Mayako,
36 Mood.
I'm Matt McCallum.
And I'm Frank McKinney.
And here are your headlines. Invisible Speed have announced that four-time world champion driver Ryan Cavallari is the first Invisible Speed pro driver.
Yokomo has teased their classic blue in a recent photo of their current touring car chassis.
Adam and Rhonda Drake have saved Thunder Alley.
Roar racers are up in arms.
Donovan RC have been appointed distributor for Crybaby Racing.
We've got the roundup from MKGP.
And Hoodie released this fantastic tiny tray.
And now for the main stories.
Yes, this week we got news that Adam and Rhonda Drake have been fundamental in saving the Thunder Alley Raceway. They had this to say.
We kind of took it upon us to start making calls, reaching out to everyone to see if there was any chance that the track could be saved. Preparing a couple different proposals, attending many meetings over the last 6 months. The board then voted and the track was awarded to Rhonda and myself, or the lease for the track. So the track will now be called the Drake Raceway at Noble Creek Park. Part of the reason for that is we just want to make sure legally there's no problems or challenges with Andrew and Amanda, the previous owners. We have a great relationship with them. And then also it will make it a little bit more streamlined for us with having our business, the Drake Racing. We are able to then just kind of add to that the Drake Raceway and have additional pages through our social media. We are looking forward to this new chapter and kind of second chance with the racetrack here in Beaumont, California.
This year's Mayako Youth Mentoring Program starts soon. It's for drivers who want to see how far they can take the RC hobby and for mentors who want to help release the full potential of youth drivers. The program contains the same material as the Invisible Speed online course, as well as coaching during the racing season. For more information, see the community tab on mayako.com.
Now, obviously, the MKGP is being decided this weekend, but what's really important is the MKGP RCTV Stick Drop Challenge.
Oh, it's well off.
Epic fail.
Last week, Roar, the governing body for RC racing in the USA, dropped a bombshell on Facebook which stirred up an absolute hornet's nest.
Which brings us to this week's hot topic.
This is a hot topic.
Okay, now this requires some background. We'll keep this as brief as possible. Just bear with us.
In all forms of motorsport racing, from RC to karting to full-size, there are organizing bodies made up mostly of volunteers that help create the standards and rules that directly affect you and your racing. Whether you're aware of it or not, these groups help form the rules that racers use from the World Championships all the way to your weekend club race. This is similar to how it works in the world of RC Racing Championships, with organizations like Roar across North America, EFRA across Europe, and FEMCA across Asia. Each of these groups work with manufacturers within the RC industry and with each other to standardize the RC racing products that go into your racing car. Now, it costs money to have these products tested, so they stay within the rules. Things like electric motor internals, body weight and thickness, battery capacity, and so on. So all of these RC organizations require the manufacturer to pay application fees to test the products, and that approval is good for a few years, after which the product needs to be resubmitted to make sure the specification hasn't changed. Which, finally, is what brings us to the hot topic at hand. Last week, just a couple of weeks before the Electric On-Road Carpet Nationals in New York, The official Roar Facebook page posted a list of dozens of battery, motor, and speed control manufacturers who have products that have expired or haven't paid their Roar affiliate member fees, meaning racers could face traveling to New York State from all over the country and being told their electronics are illegal. Now, some of these companies are no longer in business or haven't released new racing products and so on, but that doesn't matter to the many racers that posted things like, "Sounds a lot like the Italian mafia," or "Most people are just trying to afford eggs right now," or "Maybe it's time for a new sanctioning body." On the upside, there were comments like, "With all the whiners, it looks like I may be able to place in the top 30 now," which really misses the point in our view. First of all, most of the larger leading RC companies weren't highlighted as behind in their dues. And some of the ones that were behind, we are told, have paid. So their products will be legal, so message received. Like any racing club, if you don't pay the dues or the racing fees, you can't race. Same thing here. And as someone who has actually participated in Roar races way back when, I remember when there actually was a different sanctioning body in the USA. Anyone else remember NORCA? I used to sign up for all of the NORCA Nationals in Las Vegas because, hey, it's Vegas, baby. Even when you lose, and I lost a lot, you're having a good time. So there has been a competing sanctioning body, and where is it now? Nowhere. Roar is trying to rebuild relations with racers and the industry, and in the words of Josh Cyril, a longtime pro RC racer, stop whining over something that's a manufacturer requirement in order to have legal and Roar-approved products. And if you don't like what's being done, then put your money where your mouths are and run for office and help Roar. Hell, even just do something positive for RC racing overall at your local track or community. And as pointed out elsewhere in the comments, many of the comments are coming from people who aren't even Roar members and haven't raced in a Roar Nationals. Maybe that's just the internet effect in action.
We would love to hear your comments and your thoughts on this. So why don't you put them down there? My first question is, do people want controlled racing where it's fair and the products are safe to use? Or do they just want anyone to be able to turn up with anything that they've bought from anywhere and just compete with other people on the same track with no level of equipment? My second point is, do people expect for the process of ensuring that people have fair and safe equipment is free? Do they think that that costs nothing? My third point is, maybe all of the money that goes into those costs that the manufacturer has to pay doesn't go directly into the process of homologating the products, but maybe it goes to things like this. BRCA is the British Federation, and their banners and outreach is everywhere around us. How does that get paid for? Well, I think it should get paid for by, in part, the manufacturers. So they have to pay their dues every year to contribute to this growing. Right now, I can see young people playing on a Try Me RC track. Those people might become customers of the manufacturers who have to pay for the homologation. It's cyclical. Cyclical, that's a new word. It's a circle thing. They have to pay, they have to put some money in, and they have to do it on a periodical level, and there has to be some penalty for not doing that. I can also see from the American racers' point of view that they bought something that last year was legal that this year might not be legal because the company they bought it off decides, well, this year I'm not going to pay the federation.
Yeah.
But the onus should be on that manufacturer to go, customers bought my product last year and I want them to be able to compete with it this year, so I should be able to pay the federation so that they can continue to use the product that I sold to them and made a profit on. And when it comes to it, and people are describing this as like a mafia or some kind of racket, how much are the manufacturers being expected to pay? Is it thousands and thousands of dollars? No. It's a few $100s. It's like $200 to be an associate member or whatever terminology they use for Raw. So everyone needs to, in my very humble opinion, wind their neck in and buy your products from manufacturers who pay their dues to help the sport continue to grow. Unfortunately, we all love to hate federations, but federations are literally just a group of people that come together and do all the boring stuff and the unpopular stuff that makes this thing happen and makes this thing fair.
Yeah, definitely.
And we see in the comments a manufacturer like LRP, Jürgen's commenting in the comments saying, I just paid. So it worked. Let's talk to a federation here, if they'll talk to us, and see what the BRCA think about this sort of situation. What's your take on this, as someone who's obviously very involved in a federation?
Oh, that's a great question. Just go straight in. You might as well just stuck something in my throat there. So principally, it's been the same forever, where there's a list for IFMAR where the manufacturers have to pay, I think, the most amount of money. And there's a list at RAW where the manufacturers pay an amount of money. There's a list at EFRA where the manufacturers pay an amount of money. There's a list at the BRCA where the manufacturers. There's probably a list at FEMCA. There's probably a list at all of the, around the world. There's different lists everywhere. I think that we should get together and we should have a single list.
And now we're wondering just where in the world Scotty is.
Where on earth is Scotty?
Hey everybody, Scotty Ernst here, and this week I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm here for Motorama 2025, a massive motorsports show that we put on, a massive 8-scale buggy race here, over 300 entries from across the country. It really makes for a unique event in front of thousands of spectators.
That's right, this week Scotty's been in Motorama, where Chase Lemieux took the win in Buggy Expert, and RCGP alum Spencer Heckert took the win in Truggy Expert.
And back to the MKGP, here's our wrap-up of the weekend.
The British Off-Road Grand Prix, to give it its full title, took place here at the biggest shopping mall in Milton Keynes, with racers from all over the world, including reigning four-wheel drive buggy world champion Davide Ongaro in attendance.
Although top EOS racers Marcus Carup and Bartek Salewski were threatening in two-wheel drive, it was British racer and former European champion Tommy Hall with the TQ win, with Marcus taking second after his two-wheel drive win at EOS.
And in four-wheel drive, what he called the best win of his career, young Bartek took the race TQ and overall win in his X-Ray, holding off a feisty Ongaro on the very tight and twisty track. Well, we hope that this week you've been enjoying the RCTV podcast with world champion racer Bruno Cahello telling us all about his new career direction with Infinity.
This week, we're introducing Mic'd Up, a new video series we're hoping will become a regular feature.
Switch on the team radio.
Your pace is good enough to bump up. What the f***? Keep going, it doesn't matter.
Hear what the drivers and the mechanics say during the races like never before.
Or then the tank is broken. This car is just full of fuel.
Hey, that's called karma.
Powered by RCGP, this is Mic'd Up.
Well, that's it from our coverage here from MKGP. It's been an awesome weekend. What a fantastic time we've had. Thank you for tuning in. Again, that was episode 7.
Yes.
In the books. RCTV News. Can we make it to 52? That's a whole year. Can we? I don't know. But if we do, it will be thanks to these guys. These are our partners.
Tonisport,
Invisible Speed,
Maugrafix,
Orlowski Racing Line, EuroRC, rsrc,
Mayako,
36 Mood.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.